Last year, Yamaha launched the all-new YXZ1000R. A true driver's machine, it combined the first 5-speed manual transmission found in a side-by-side with an engine featuring a screaming top-end focused power band. The engine came wrapped in a stout rigid chassis with fully adjustable Fox Podium RC2 shocks. The YXZ1000R delivered a level of control to the driver never before available in a UTV. Nearly 1 year after the world launch of the YXZ1000R, Yamaha invited members of the media to join them in Union, South Carolina, on the grounds of the Big Buck Grand National Cross Country Race Course, to drive the second addition to their YXZ family, the 2017 YXZ1000R SS. SS stands for Sport Shift, replacing the manual clutch and center-mounted shift lever with a set of steering column-mounted paddle shifters and a slick computer-controlled auto clutch. Were these few changes enough to turn this top-end focused West Coast screamer into a capable East Coast trail machine? We're about to find out. UTV On Demand's test of the 2017 Yamaha YXZ1000R SS was made possible by Texeratech Chassis Components, makers of maximum strength, extreme ground clearance radius rods and A-arms for your UTV. Designed and built in Northern California. Available for the Polaris RZR XP 900 and 1000, and now available for the YXZ1000R and YXZ1000R SS. Reduce co-pilot fatigue with the co-pilot grab bar from Fast Company. Just like their world-famous flex handlebars, the co-pilot reduces the transfer of jarring impacts and can be tuned per rider preference. The co-pilot dampens vibration, are made in America, and should outlast the life of your RZR. They fit all 2012 and newer RZR models and are available at fastco.com. The 112 horsepower 998cc fuel-injected 3-cylinder 4-stroke engine found in the SS features 4 valves and double overhead cams per cylinder. It is, for the most part, identical to the one found in the 1000R, right down to its 5-speed gearbox. The big difference between the 1000R and 1000R SS is that the manual clutch and pedal have been replaced by a computer-controlled auto clutch system. The center console-mounted shift lever now serves the purpose of selecting between forward, neutral, and reverse. Shifting up and down between the gears is handled by the right and left paddle shifters mounted on the steering column. In addition to an added coolant temperature gauge on the instrument display of both models, the SS also receives a half-clutch indicator light, showing when the computer-controlled clutch is engaged for takeoffs or gear changes. There's also a launch control indicator light, showing when the launch control system has been engaged. More on that later. The intake draws air from inside the cockpit between the occupants. A dual filter setup with a foam and wet paper filter means better filtration for longer engine life. Turn the key to bring the engine to life. Push the center console mounted lever forward, and the transmission shifts from neutral into first. A light touch of the gas pedal allows you to pull away smoothly, or stomp the gas and take off with authority. Either way, there's no clutch pedal to worry about. Power delivery on the SS is identical to that of the standard model, pulling hardest from 7,000 to redline at 10,500 RPMs. The R's engine felt pretty stall-proof driving in deep sand in our first couple of tests, but required you to keep it in the top third of the power band if you wanted to accelerate with any authority on a steep dune. Driving on the harder, less power-sapping trails of the East Coast, the engine's low and mid-range power feels far more effective for casual driving. You can crawl along most trails and growl your way up some pretty steep inclines, never touching the top third of the RPMs. In the trees, the smooth linear low and mid-range power and wide ratio gearbox make this missile manageable for less skilled drivers. With its power focused in the top end, if you want to race your buddies, you'll need to keep the RPMs up, requiring you to work the gearbox. Fortunately, the new Sport Shift system makes this a simple, almost foolproof process. Accelerating through the gears, you can back off the gas when upshifting, or keep the pedal on the floor and shift. The computerized shifting cuts the power, activates the clutch, makes the shift, feeds the clutch back in, and returns you to full throttle almost instantaneously, allowing for full power drag racing without ever taking your foot out of it. One advantage of a manual shift transmission over CVTs and other auto clutch systems is the ability to dump the clutch for drag races. Although Yamaha eliminated the clutch pedal, they managed to retain that ability with their ingenious launch system. Sitting at a dead stop in first gear, apply the brake and pull in both paddles at the same time. When the launch system indicator light comes on, you can rev the engine to anywhere between 5,000 RPMs in redline, release both paddles, and the YXZ1000R dumps the clutch, launching you off the line. Coming down from speed, you can easily downshift under braking, keeping your gear selection perfectly matched for maximum acceleration out of corners, or leave it a gear high and torque your way out of turns. If the engine nears idle and the wheels almost reach a complete stop, the Sport Shift system will automatically return the transmission to first gear. If you're hard on the gas driving in a higher gear and the engine starts bogging down, the transmission automatically downshifts instead of simply slipping the clutch. This keeps the engine from stalling while protecting the clutch from excessive wear. The transmission's ability to downshift when absolutely necessary makes this car easily drivable for novices, without detracting from the high-performance experience for highly skilled drivers. Being able to shift gears without removing a hand from the steering wheel aids in your ability to control the car while driving at a race pace in extremely tight woods, where mistakes are measured in fractions of an inch. Another brilliant feature of the Sport Shift system is its dynamic clutch engagement, useful for times when you're stuck in a rock garden or need to take off on the face of a hill. In first gear, if you're hard on the gas but the wheels aren't turning, the dynamic clutch engages, allowing the engine to rev up to 6,000 RPMs, then quickly feeds in the power with the clutch, providing the thrust and momentum needed to clear the obstacle. While it may not get you out every time, it does seem to work pretty well. About the only thing you give up with Sport Shift is the ability to slip the clutch for times when you simply don't want to downshift. But shifting is so fast and precise, we honestly never missed it. Plus, you hardly have to worry about yourself or your co-driver cooking an expensive clutch. The drivetrain can be switched between two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and four-wheel drive with front differential lock. We spend a majority of our time driving in four-wheel drive, maximizing steering precision on the tight trails. The YXZ is built on a stout-looking steel chassis with double wishbone suspension at both ends. The design of the rear control arms somewhat mimic the design and function of trailing arms and radius rods, but with a more rigid and robust design. The YXZ measures in at 64 inches wide with a 90.5-inch wheelbase and 12.9 inches of ground clearance. Aftermarket companies we've spoken to feel that the YXZ is a pretty overbuilt machine. This is the type of durability we hoped Yamaha would bring to the sports side-by-side segment. Fox Podium 2.5 RC2 shocks are used on both the Blaze Orange and Yamaha Blue-White models. They feature preload, high and low speed compression, and rebound damping adjustments. The rear shocks feature Fox anti-bottoming technology, helping reduce any harsh bottoming sensation. They control 16.2 inches of wheel travel up front and 17 inches out back. The YXZ is rather maneuverable in the woods for its 64-inch width. Steering is accurate, with the car going right where it's pointed. Yamaha speed-sensitive electronic power steering feels light but natural. It keeps you feeling connected to the trail, while filtering out impacts from the steering that could easily knock you offline and into a tree. In rough, rutted turns and charging through bump-filled high-speed sections, the chassis' rigidity adds to the car's precise handling and high-performance feel. Body roll is not an issue. Driving hard, the car feels stable and planted, even on off-camber turns. At no point does it feel like it's going to surprise you in two-wheel without ample warning. The Fox shocks' high level of adjustability let them conform well to the smaller high-speed impacts of roots and the more square-edged bumps of clay-based East Coast trails. Rebound damping is a little bit fast, making the rear end lose contact with the ground from time to time on kicker bumps. It's not a serious issue, but dialing in more rebound damping does help. Bottoming resistance for big hits and G-outs isn't a problem for the YXZ on the trail. The shocks can be set up for running at a race pace or casual exploring. Perhaps it's not quite as plush as the Razor XP, but it benefits from less body roll. Hydraulic disc brakes with dual piston calipers reside at all four corners. Stopping power is abundant. A good, precise feeling to the pedal lets you choose between keeping the car hooked up on downhills or locking the rear tires up for brake slides into turns. Like most other aspects of the car, the brakes lend themselves well to precise high-performance driving. 27-inch Maxxis Bighorn 2.0 tires, customized for the YXZ1000R, provided excellent traction and control in everything the trail had to offer, performing well as an all-condition tire. The Bighorns come mounted on 24-inch alloy wheels, which held up well to the beating we dished out. Tilt steering and a driver's seat that can be adjusted without tools let most drivers put the controls easily within reach. The laid-back high-back seats deliver a good amount of comfort for original equipment seats. Some drivers complained that it was difficult to keep themselves pushed back in the seat on the original YXZ, with the clutch pedal preventing them from keeping a foot solidly planted on the floorboard. With the clutch pedal eliminated, the Sport Shift model enjoys an ergonomic advantage over the standard model. High-quality full doors and a sunroof come standard on all YXZs. Along with the Blaze Orange and Yamaha Blue White models, Yamaha also offers a pretty special matte black with red accents special edition model. Its biggest upgrade are the industry-exclusive dual-chamber Fox 2.5 Podium X2 shocks, featuring high and low speed compression and high and low speed rebound adjustment. It also comes with color-matched true beadlock wheels, seeming like a good value for the added $1,600 price increase over the blue and white model we tested. The YXZ is a tough customer. Our wave of editors completed the day with no bends, serious dents, or DNFs. A lack of robust build quality has been our largest complaint with high-performance UTVs. With Yamaha's entrance into the high-performance segment, times are changing. Paddle shifters have been used in Formula One for years. Now Yamaha has brought Formula One-like performance to the world of side-by-sides. While there will still be drivers who prefer a manual clutch, we strongly believe that most drivers from beginner to expert will prefer the Sport Shift system. The engine is still a screamer. In the dunes, the Sport Shift will make rapid up and down shifts easier and less fatiguing on long drives, and it aids in control and concentration on tight switchback trails. The original YXZ1000R is a great niche machine for high-performance drivers. With Sport Shift, Yamaha now has a UTV that nearly anyone can jump into and drive, with a higher level of control than the competition provides. Sport Shift is one of the greatest innovations we've seen in side-by-sides in years. With performance you have to experience to believe. For more information on the YXZ1000R SS, visit your local Yamaha dealer or visit YamahaMotorsports.com.